Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining, and welcome to today's talk. Today is like a planned one with the industry leader who are leading, who are motivating us on a daily basis about the career in cloud computing, and it's my pleasure that they have accepted my invite and we all are here to share the journey, how they switch their career, how they transition their career from the previous or pre-cloud era technologies rather than I say the legacy one because that is still relevant. And thank you all of you for joining. Few things before starting or bringing all our guests on the screen. Few house rule or what I can say, what you will get after this session. So there will be a quiz. So the people who will win the quiz, they will receive an ebook written by Conrad and his colleague about the GCP Pro Architect Guide. Second thing, towards the end of this session, I will share a Google Meet link. Everyone will have an opportunity to say hi to all the cloud leader. And the third one, it may happen that we miss the questions because of, again, we are running with a fixed time, 90 minutes max. And next week, I will do a Google Meet session so that everyone can join and I will try my best to answer. So the idea of today's talk here is to clarify the common query that how to start the career in cloud computing as well as what will be the value of certification, because from last 1 year or almost 15 to 18 months certification become a new norm and no industry is untouched, what I can say, with the cloud. Everyone is talking about cloud, every industry is utilizing, trying to understand the value proposition of cloud, and everyone is trying to upskill to see that where they can leverage the cloud in their career. So the common questions like, I have experience of so and so for technology, what will be the way to learn the cloud, whether the certification will add value or not, and which certification I need to do. So in that regard, we all the leaders are going to talk, and you can drop your question. So in between, we will pick the question. It's not that at the end, in between, while like everyone will share their thoughts, we will pick the question. So now let me bring all our leaders one by one on the screen. So I would like to welcome Mr. Richard Foltech. Good morning, Richard. How are
Good
you today?
morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah. So Richard is industry pioneer, industry recognized coach, trainer, as well as not only about a cloud security, but the many kind of security. When we talk about a cyber security, or so he's a man whom you can answer everything. So cloud is not only about the infrastructure, virtual machine, but security is a very key essential role. Right. So I am going to call Mr. Yujun Liang. Welcome, sir. Good morning.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, pleasure
Good
to be
morning.
here. I think you don't need no introduction. We all are mostly I believe are connected with Eugen, and on a daily basis we see the motivational post, and he shared about his journey many times. So pleasure to have you on board, sir.
Awesome. Good to be here.
Yeah, and I like to welcome Mr. Satyan Kumar, who is a director and strategy for the Wipro and based out of Belgium. And welcome, Satyan.
Hi everyone, nice to be here. Thank you.
And last but not least, Mr. Conrad Kalapa. When we talk about the GCP, he is one of a rare people who become a GCP fellow, a certified fellow in globally, and pleasure to be on board, Conrad.
Hello, guys, and thanks for the invite. I'm really happy to be with you here.
Sure. So I think let's start with the point of that. If you all can share about how you started and your journey about cloud computing, and where when you feel that really it is valuable and you really need to put effort, and what was your feeling few years back about the cloud platform when market was not big. So how you took the call that whatever the previous experience you all are having, it need to be leveraged in cloud. So maybe I think, Richard, you can start.
Okay. So please note that I started at Nortel. I started in the networking space. Spent 17 years. I was a developer. I wrote C, assembler code. I was also an architect. Got a lot of patents in the area of modems and just the various technologies around networking. So I love it when everybody says you're a security guy, when the reality is I've worn every freaking hat in the industry, and I've been typecast. Oh, you're a networking guy. What do you know about servers, right? So I want to dispel this, because don't get yourself typecast is rule number one. But when I was at Cisco started the whole CCIE, the whole certification training sort of agenda. And to be totally honest, when I was there, I wrote the chapter for security in CCIE books. I mean, I helped in the development of those chapters there. I actually thought of it as a scam, because it was a way that Cisco trained people to then be Cisco, encourage Cisco products being sold. Why? Because I was trained in Cisco. Therefore, I want, that certification was sort of like a lock on Cisco technology. And I used every excuse to myself. And this is why I'm just trying to teach people my mistakes in my career. I used every excuse in the back of my mind not to get these certifications. And I will tell you, those colleagues of mine that they got certified, they still work, they moved up in their careers quite successfully. It helped them in their journey. In the back of my mind, I didn't want to go down that path. Spent many years at Cisco, did great work, loved the engagement. But after 17 years, it was, I went in, ended up at Verizon. I helped build out their data networking across their 8 data centers, their entire journey to AWS. But again, I was typecast. You're a networking guy. You're a network architect. That's what you are. We did some really great things. We were one of the first companies that fully automated their networks. We went in and, like Palo Alto and checkpoints, we fully automated the firewalls, which today is still a rare practice within the industry. I spoke at Ignite 2017 for Palo Alto as one of the keynote speaks on DevSecOps and best practices around that. Then I ended up at Deloitte, helping build out that cloud practice, where I met you, Jim. And I find it really funny, because I was ended up chief architect, overall architect. And at Deloitte, we had a colleague, Eugen knows him, who actually at one point in time, because we were arguing over a design, and he said, go get your CISSP and then come talk to me. And it was one of those sort of like moments where, really, you're going to go down that path? I've read all the books. I've done it over the years. So 3 weeks later, I sat the exam, passed it. Then 3 weeks later I did all the ISACA exams and the IC squared. It's like, is this enough? It gives you credibility in the industry. And I don't want to diss certifications, but I also want to encourage it. Why? It's not for me. These certifications, this training, this education, it reinforces what you know, or it teaches you something new, right? ML, that was totally new to me. This is something it's harder. If you're in a totally new area, it's a harder area to kind of pick up and learn. But it's also beneficial, because you're developing yourself, you're growing your skill sets. And so what I want to encourage everyone is either become a specialist and get really good at what you do, or be a generalist. But even there, know what you're talking about, because when you're talking with these specialists, they will eat you alive if you don't have that proper skill set to understand what it is that they're talking about. And certification, and why I want to encourage people to do this, is it gives you credibility to others. It's like, no one cares about your experience. I'm going to be blunt about that. That's the lesson I've learned over the years. They'll look at you, they'll try to typecast you, they'll try to discount you. Very difficult to do that when I can go and say, hey, I have my CISA from ISACA. I can audit your IT environment. I've been recognized to do that. And so that gives me credibility when I start talking about NIST 800, controls or ISO standards. Why? Because I've done SOC, I've done ISO. Not that I'm a security guy, kind of stepping back, or a compliance guy, but you need to understand the wider architecture, how these are deployed in the real world. And so hopefully that gives you a real kind of 2 cents. I've made mistakes. I want to encourage people to keep developing on themselves. And it's why I'm here. It's why I'm really wanting to give people these shortcuts, because I've been stuck in my career. And sort of, you blame everyone but yourself when you get there. So how do you break through that to move yourself to the next level? And for those certifications, I will thank Eugen. Okay, so he's, I think, on my end, sitting right there, at least for me, because he was the one when we were at Google Next. He brought me into the certification lounge, and he's going, "Oh, I'm going to go get this one," and it's like, "Why, Eugen? Why?" So he convinced me to go through this whole journey. And I've got 40 or so certs now. Like you stop counting, and they don't matter as much in terms of, but they give you that learning and that reinforcement that when you engage someone and they're like, "Well, you're not a networking guy." I've had people tell me that you're a security guy, you're not a networking guy. It's like, yeah, tell that to my colleagues at Verizon who typecast me as the networking guy. So anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get somebody else in here.
Sure. Just to add, like I like the point like which you mentioned, that either go for the specialization, or if you want to be a generalist, you need to be really sure what you actually doing, because in front of customer, it's the same scenario for me, because I started as a generalist. Like I started my career nearby 5 years back, and being as a day one born in a cloud organization, so playing a role of generalist. But now, like from the start of this year, like I feel that I need to pick my final call, or be, I can say, wear the SME hat now and become a specialist. So really appreciate your thoughts around that. So now let's go to Yujun. How about you? Like where you feel that not only certification, but how you took the call that you need to be in cloud computing, and that is the way to go. Because just to share about Yujun, he is a hardcore Java developer. I believe nearby 2 decades he is doing Java. So from being that developer, how you change your mindset that cloud is just about the infrastructure, or what? Please share.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate Richard's awesome story. So I encourage people learn from Richard's mistake, but he learned from his own mistake and become very successful now. That's you can use his journey to. Actually, I like to get all Richard have the ISC2, the ISACA. Those are important ones. I don't have now, but I will get them later. Now, let me share how I get into cloud computing. So hopefully this story is helpful for you. As Chirag said, I have been a Java developer for a long time, but I wasn't a Java developer at the beginning. I've been in many other legacy technology as well. I came to the United States to hunt Y2K bugs. At that time, I worked on Power Builder. So Power Builder is a client tool, work on Windows to develop business application and purchased by Sybase. We use Power Builder connect to our IBM mainframe. So it worked pretty well. I enjoyed that technology. But once we finished the project in 1999, I couldn't find any new project on Power Builder anymore. And I was forced into a corner. I very appreciate Sun at that time. They promoting Java and so many Java-related technology. I used to be a developer, so I learned the Java quickly and became a Java developer. And maintained 15 years career on Java. Different Java like Groovy, Scala, all kinds of framework, Hibernate, Spring, Struts. I enjoyed, and I became an agile coach to teach people how to use agile practice like TDD, BDD. If people know this, a lot of infrastructure people may not know this now, but later on they will learn this because everybody is a coder now. We do infrastructure as code now. So knowing programming, knowing development is an advantage. That's I have this advantage. Then in 2016, when I worked for an employer, that employee want to move to cloud. And then everybody is required to learn AWS, become certified. So I came to know AWS long ago, like when they started. I just always treated. Remember, they are saying there is no cloud; it's just someone else's computer. That was exactly my mind. So I said, those are infrastructure. I'm a developer. Why do I need to worry about them? I just write the code and maybe Rich Fortek or Chirag, people like them, deploy to cloud. Whatever cloud they want to deploy, I don't care. I just continue write my code. So when the manager asked us to get certified, I wasn't that interested. So I keep postponing it. I got a postponed for 8 months. I didn't get anything. And just one day, I couldn't postpone anymore, and I started. One of my colleagues, I thank him for pointing me to the right direction. His name is Tie Guo. I don't know whether any other people know him. He worked for Fidelity. He still works for Fidelity. He said, use a Cloud Guru. And then I went to a Cloud Guru. I purchased one course and I started leasing it. Oh man, just 10 minutes into that course, Ryan Kunenberg changed my mind.
Okay.
Oh, after that, just after first course, first hour, I made my mind. I will get fully certified on AWS. So I keep doing it. Bang, 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 bang. I got all 5 AWS in 4 months.
Wow, that's great. I think that was at that time it was damn tough back in 2016-17. The Pro was new. The DevOps was a very like a recent introduction at that time, and not many resources were there. But yeah, great to hear.
Exactly. So with all that 5 certification, I still have a difficult finding a job in cloud computing. I applied for internal transfer. It was unsuccessful. So I started look outside. Luckily, I got into Deloitte Consulting, and I met Rich Fortek. And yeah, Deloitte is a step up for me. So I finally moved from a low-level developer into a kind of an executive position. Rich, we can consider us as an executive in Deloitte.
Senior managers are basically VP level type roles within the Deloitte sort of ecosystem. So yes.
Exactly. And then in consulting world, there's so much to learn. And I learned so much from other colleagues from Deloitte, including Rich Fortek. Thank you, Rich.
No, thank you, Eugene. And I think this is a really big aspect that notice there's a theme here. We're finding excuses and delaying our own career progression because we're again, we're our own worst enemy. Not just me. Eugene explained the exact same story. And I want to drive that over because I think it's something we all suffer. Maybe not everyone, but I will tell you, everybody I speak to suffers. And I just want to encourage people to move forward in their lives. Forget about even cloud, right? This is specific, but in anything that they're doing. So
yeah.
Amen.
And then I got exposure not only to AWS, but to Google Cloud, to Azure, and Alibaba. At one time, I became fully certified on all these 4 clouds: AWS, Google, Azure, and Alibaba. Now,
I think that was back in 2017, and you went like you traveled to India also to deliver a session in Bangalore. I remember your post, and you presented about the cloud certification back in 2017 in Bangalore. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Deloitte invited me into a trip to go to offices in India, just to inspire my colleague in India to learn, because people may just same as Richard and I in the past, we don't want to stop. But no matter what, I think the best thing I did is started. I started the journey and I go so long until today. I became a chief architect in a Fortune 500 company, Global 500 company. What took me here is the learning journey. It's so useful to learn some skills. It will definitely help your career development. I cannot say enough about this. So after this call, I encourage everybody just go to their laptop, stop watching entertainment like TikTok, just watch A Cloud Guru or any other online learning courses. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Yujun. So it's like, yeah, personally I'm following you from many years, so I notice like the things you are doing, and the other part is the way you are contributing and motivating everyone. So it become kind of a you like a, what I can say, a true leadership. It's not only about a certification, but lifting other in their career. It's great to hear. So coming to Satyan, how about you? Like you are the part of a big GSI, globally named Wipro. So, and you started as an enterprise architect. So, what was the force behind that you put your efforts to learn cloud, and you are fully certified on AWS. You have a bunch of other cloud certification, as well as what I can say, a tremendous 24-year of journey. So, feel free to share.
Yeah, thanks, Rag, and welcome everybody. I think one part of the the good part of our journey, there's a quite overlapping into that. Okay, so one thing, and which is actually the most important, which I think is how do we start? Yeah, and this is the most difficult part where we have a lot of thoughts that whether we can do this, we can come into the cloud, we can how we onboard into the career. So just to give a little perspective, for example, I did engineering in 96, and when you are in the study, you think that as soon as you finish it, you get all the financial freedom, and you are in a sea of all sort of things in the career, and which is good. And for me, when I finished the study, then I joined my first job, very good job, and that lasted for full 2 days and 2 hours. So the very first day, yeah. So very first day, I went to the interview. He sort of wonderful, wonderful, everything, and I got selected, and day one. The second day, I talked to the good manager, the senior manager of the company, and he second day I got promoted, and third day I go to a customer in 96. I'm telling and my task was to remove a virus from the enterprise, this PC. I didn't know, I decided that formatting is the best thing. Yeah. And then at 11 o'clock, he made sure that I don't re-enter into the company. So that was the very first thing that I learned, that financial freedom is as much as important. The dreams are as much as important, but what matters is also whether you are prepared, you have the skill sets or not. Yeah. So that's where actually the other job, or the more which lasted for few years, couple of years, was the instrumentation engineer, doing the automation for the plants and things like it, where I really loved that there is no alternative of doing the hard work. There's absolutely no alternative hard work, doing all the automation stuff, programming the PLCs, and the temperature controllers and those sort of things. I learned a lot, and then at time, again, it was, I think, 97, 97 or 98, and there was a big worry in the everywhere, which was Y2K. Yeah, that there would be a one day coming when there are no computer systems going to work. So this where in that factory there was only room which has the air conditioner. Hmm. And that has three PCs, and we used to call the data center. So I used to go there in the data center and try to learn, hey, what these couple of guys they do. And indirectly, I know that how they work. And one day some issues come, and what I did is now known as business continuity planning.
Okay.
Basically, I restored something, so I came into the notice. And that's where basically the IT journey started. The further jobs I have taken into the one in the developer, and basically then yeah, long journey in the legacy systems, and the initial period of the IT systems, until in 2006, when really I think I published in LinkedIn also that how by accident, it was just accident that in 2006 that I moved into the cloud. Because we had an issue in the I used to work with the automobile giant. We have couple of systems in the multi geo, one in Belgium and France and in UK. And our target was how we connect to the middleware. And one of the guy, he told that, hey, why you are doing that, while there is a company called Amazon, and do into their systems, they will take care of you. I thought it's crazy, why other company will take care of my systems. And then he persisted me and sent me the link, and that was the Amazon link in 2005. I took the screenshot, and if I send you that screenshot how Amazon.com looked in 2005, you will see, man, it's nothing. But that's how the service like SQS I came into the it was very interesting for me. I learned mostly from not the videos. There were no video. YouTube was another later phenomena. The only thing was, in one of time, one of the instance where I asked one of the colleague to fax me the manual of one service. So I
Wow.
got a fax of 200 pages. That was a record, I believe. So I learned, I think this way, the hard way actually. And that's where I think where either on the legacy or in any one cloud, if you have understanding of how really things work. Yeah. So removing the top layers, basically there is a great framework that you create into the mind, and you can understand how really the most cloud or hybrid things that work, right? So since 2006, more or less, begin with the journey. Then certification was more to actually the motivate the team members, because people are going to New Jersey, people are going to other places to learn and spend 7 days, and then they come back, the architecture come back. And even we were not prepared for having a simple architecture diagram. So what should we do? You can't tell that, okay, do learn this thing. So the best approach as a leader is you move, you start doing the things, and automatically there was a traction, and the things where the people were going and certifying themselves. So that's what you say, the turning point where the other people they started to learn. And that's where I also begin to certification. And then I basically I would say I never stop. Still I love to talk with on the certification. And it's as Richard told, it's a very best way to keep yourself motivated for learning.
Great.
So
Thanks Satyan, for sharing. Like it is really like I think this is the first time I am talking with a person who knows like AWS since, because theoretically I have read okay SQS was the first service back in 2003 or 4 kind of a timeline they released, and in 2006 S3 came into picture. But really one point like I really like which you mentioned, to learn about any cloud the core need to be there. Like what I understand is it's you are talking about here the fundamentals remain same. If we get what I can say, get the meat or crack that how the fundamentals of IT is working, it can be applied to any cloud platform, not only the big three player, but whatever the new is coming in the market. Fundamentals are fundamentals.
And even for the non-cloud also, Chirag, like all the five guiding principles that remain same from before cloud. Every enterprise needs a resilient system. Every enterprise needs secure. Tell me any time when any enterprise told you that no, I don't want the secure system. So cloud is just one tool. You can plug into what guiding principle they have, right?
Yes. Okay, so coming to Conrad's side, I'm pretty much curious to know that, Conrad, why like GCP become your favorite? Because is it from the, what I can say, as a professionally from the organization perspective, or it was your personal choice? Because you are kind of a guy, new age guy, who is, what I can say, endorsing app modernization. The new era of things are coming, and especially I think very few people globally know about Anthos, and but you are the champ there. So, so how you started with cloud?
Yes, I think it's actually an evolution because I've been kind of involved with cloud. I just would like to start how I started into certification because this is something really important for me. When I was at the university, I was very much into networking, telecommunication. So I'm a telecommunication engineer, which was my major, and I felt really depressed when I was looking at all the job offers, right? Like 11, I think it's even more. It's like 15 years ago. So I said, like, I'm never going to find any job. I need to do something about it. So I found this course, this thing called Cisco. Yeah. And it was, there is a training called CCNA. Why don't I take it? And now it feels for me, it's like, doing a CCNA certificate is like doing a military service. Everyone had to do that. The guys that were getting into the IT by that time. And then I realized I can actually put this knowledge that I have into practice. So, the first job, actually, the first internship I got was in networking. So I was able to travel from Poland to Spain, and I've been working, with networking at this time. I actually learned I had the CCNA exam already, but I could actually work with Enterasys. So it gives you the idea that the concepts are the same, right? And you just need to make some more effort, understand a little bit more, and you can work with a different technology, right? And then I learned even more because it was quite a big company. It was like real estate company, one of the biggest real estate companies in Europe. So they had this thing called VMware, which is like, whoa, that's quite amazing. So you don't need your hardware to host. Well, you need your hardware to host your servers, but you can have multiple servers on the hardware. Yeah, that's quite amazing. And then I thought, oh, I'm not going to do telecommunication anymore because I had my thesis in front of me. So I thought, no, I don't want to write about VoIP anymore. I want to write about something that's like top edge technology. So I changed my mentor at the university, and this is where I wrote my thesis on VMware. And then I thought, okay, what can I do else? And I thought, okay, servers. Why? Well, what can I do with the servers? How do I get into there? Because you can't get hands-on so easily. No one will let you, RDP into their servers and start changing stuff and playing around. So then I found an academy, and at that time it was sponsored by European Union, which was pretty cool. So I just went after the university. I took 3 months course, and I did at that time. What was it called? It was MCSA, the administrator. And that was just amazing. In 3 months, I had all those toys to play around. We had some hands-on labs, and for me, it was like Legoland. So we could do whatever with this technology. And immediately after I passed the exam, I applied for my first job. And all those job offers that we had this time when you had to know MS SQL, Exchange, everything, the list was like this. I got a job in a big outsourcing company, yeah? And it was, 3 months course, doing this training, having been certified, they just took me in. And then it was amazing because I worked for one of their major customers with a massive active directory. I had a chance to, work with people who've been doing things I could never dream of to do, right? And from then I understood, okay, certification is the key to move forward. So that's where I started doing more and more Microsoft things. And then I came back to VMware because I thought, okay, you can't just be doing servers. You need to learn about virtualization. And I started coming from a position when I was doing in operation. I learned, okay, I need to understand how to design those systems. How do I do it? Am I going to spend 10 years just, trying to work in operation, trying to understand? There must be a way to do it. Yeah. So then I learned, okay, there are VMware certification related to designs. Why don't I take this? So I started looking at those principles. You start to think, okay, normally I would just think about how I configure stuff, but now I need to think why I configure these things. Yeah. And step by step, I took the role of an architect, which never thought I would be taken. And I said, okay, why not? I'm gonna take the challenge. There's so many resources out there. People have done it before. Why not? Let's do it. And then I thought, okay, it was going pretty well because I was doing both the designs and the implementation. And then I thought, I'm going to do one more thing, which I never thought I'm going to do. And I was really intimidated by all those people in VMware who had this certification. And that's the one that I have here. I got this one after, a long while. I'm being VCDX for 4 or 5 years. And this is actually a certification that prepares you to be an architect, because it's not only on VMware. Is in general, it's principles of designing IT systems. About high-level architecture, low-level architecture, about making conceptual designs, etc. And they are exams. If someone says like they're exams that are purely can be passed using dumps, that's not true, because those kind of exams, you're sitting in front of a panel and they ask you questions. Those are guys from professional services. Yeah, they have working with 100 customers, and they asking you such a questions from the field. So you can't just read it on internet. You need to have some hands-on. But what I'm trying to say, it's a process, right? So you need to start somewhere, because the certification leads you the path of how to learn stuff. If you don't know how to get into a certain field, just look at the certification. Yeah, start with something like cloud architect, whether it's AWS, Azure, GCP. Just go for it, and then you will start to open your mind and start to understand where you need to get into. Yeah? And why did I get into GCP? It's an evolution. It's not like I thought like, hey, I'm gonna start learning cloud. For me, the mission that I have in my company is to create state-of-art infrastructure offering for our customers, right? So it's an evolution. We started with servers, then we moved into virtualization, and finally we went into a public cloud. And going into public cloud for our customers is not so easy. They're those massive companies, which part of those will move to the cloud fast, but they're part of the organization that they will need help to move there. Yeah. So, for example, for some, it might be natural that we have a startup, we go into public cloud. But this is where, we still have so many legacy workloads that will need to, and there's some, especially, the use cases for Anthos. The use cases for Anthos, they're very often on-prem. So you will be surprised how many companies want to stay on-prem because they can't move out because of the sovereignty and so on. And especially around Kubernetes. Kubernetes is amazing. It's a wonderful technology, but it's so complex to go with this into enterprise. Yeah. So then you need to have enterprise grade platform to use it for the customer that provides, the governance, it provides monitoring, it provides integration with the ITSM system. And this is where I found Anthos is, one of the solutions, yes, but maybe it solves some of the problems better than other vendors, maybe, Tanzu, etc. But what I'm trying to do is to make sure that whatever I do, whatever I specialize in, I try to bring the best solution. And certification is the path to do it, because it has some consequences. If you're visible in the field, you start talk to the vendor, to the public cloud provider, and you get touch in the people who is actually developing Antos or any other solution, and you can get the most up-to-date information. Yeah, so you're becoming a really trusted advisor for your customers, and by certifying and recertifying, because that's another thing that's really important, because we have a lot of people that say, oh, I'm not going to recertify. For me, it's extremely important to recertify, because my customer needs to be sure that I'm up to date, that I haven't taken my certificate 10 years ago, and I'm not staying on top of what's going on. And probably I will never get so many certificates at Eugene, because I try to specialize only in GCP, because I simply just want to have some sleep as well. I don't know if Eugene ever sleeps. But
I also think so. Vision is sleep time is very less. I see, I think 3-4 hours you slept tonight, yesterday night, because of the excitement.
I'm sleeping very well these days, to be honest. I changed into a mode recently. I recertified all my GCP certification, so I'm pretty much relaxed now. I'm waiting for the summer, so I sleep pretty well.
Okay.
I have a question for Conrad, though, because I get this quite a bit from people asking me, do I work on a master's in data, whatever, right? Or do I get certified? I'm curious because, again, I have an answer here for the US and Canada, but I'm curious internationally, if you had a choice, if someone came to you as a question, what would you recommend they do? Do they get the cloud-specific certification, or do they spend 2 years, 3 years to get this master's? And I guess in Europe, it's a little different with masters. There's no bachelors and masters, right? But I'm kind of curious as to your recommendation, university versus industry certification. Which is more valuable?
That's interesting, because I like both. But I was thinking about this some time ago, when I was in the middle of my career. I was thinking why the heck did I spend this time to do my master's degree? Why didn't I go for doing the training, do Cisco, go to work? But I think if I had a chance to do it again, I probably would do the bachelor, start working even earlier. But I actually did. I did internship. Start working as soon as possible. Get onto internship. We have those people in our company. We have this Ignite program where we get people from the university and we teach them technology. They get hands-on. So imagine we have one guy, and I'm really proud of this guy, who came to us. He's doing operation for GCP, and he did in 3 months. He did CKA, because he's in this study mode. We have so many people that don't do certification in the company. But I said, man, look at this. I really need people who will help me with Antos. Please do CKA. And he did it in 3 months. So I would say a mixture. Yes, try to get into certification or into training, or even working hands-on. Get an internship and work through your studies. You can always do your master afterwards. Yeah, I kind of now I think this year hopefully I'll start my PhD. But this is only for my own satisfaction. Yeah, no one will be looking at the beginning of your journey, looking into if you're a bachelor, if you're a master, or you are a PhD, right? Because you start as an engineer. You're starting as a support engineer. The skills are the most essential thing you need to get at the beginning of your journey, yeah? And then you can get trained more.
Great. I think a very, very insightful thing which you have shared around, especially this is a big chicken and egg problem, getting a university or the certification, not only in Europe, but I think Asian countries also such kind of scenarios there. By the way, I like the cloud, Conrad, which you have.
This one. Oh, this one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. Okay. Just maybe I would like to be share in 2 minutes about me, that how I started, because being as a college grad, while doing the graduation, I got to introduce with Windows Azure. At that time, it was known as. So I started directly from cloud. I landed on AWS by reading the Dropbox case study, and then it blown up my eyes that what is this virtual server. I had no idea about the virtualization, as you Conrad share about the VMware world and all these things. Lately I learned about the basics of what the virtualization thing is. And it was, I can say, a bit struggle for me to get my first job, because I made my mind that I want to start my career in cloud. And it was very early day in India when the cloud platform got introduced. So Microsoft Azure came in 2014, but it was not open for public. And in 2016, AWS get launched, and in 2017 or 18 kind of timeline, GCP came in India. So I learned, I can say, from the top to know about, okay, cloud, auto scaling, and all these things. But then I understand that the big missing part in my entire journey is the fundamentals, because I never dealt with the real hardware or the switches, the networking stuff. So that is what, like, I am always trying to learn. Until date, it is something I'm trying to improve my fundamentals and basics. Okay, so I think a very important question is in the chat, which I found. I think it will be helpful that you all share your views around that. So Rakesh is asking, how can non-technical person having worked on another industry start cloud journey? It's much difficult to find a job with huge gap or with non-technical skill. I think this is a very big, what I can say, a very important question going on, not only for yeah, IT people obviously thinking about, yes, cloud is essential, but what about the non-technical person? So anyone can start and share their views around this area.
I think I have very strong opinion on this because I see it from our company. So we not being we I've seen so many people moving. So one of our really key developer we worked with in the times when we work on automation of VMware did completely different major, yes, and she switched and she was a great developer. There are a lot of academies, yeah. So think about it. It's the most important thing is to decide to do it. Yes, if you decide to do it, then you find the resources how to do it. Yeah, if you're not sure you want to have a move, you won't succeed. That's the most important thing. If you understand this is the way you want to go, then find how to do it. One of the things are like those academies where you can, try to understand what is the field. So say you want to go into Google Cloud, yeah, because you got inspired and you think that's the path to go. So start, understand, get some one-on-one training. Try to understand what this technology is about before you start making queries and finding the companies that would probably provide you with the training. And if you have this basic, look for those companies, because probably you guys know how difficult these days is to find the expert for cloud positions. Yeah, it's more, for some cases it's almost impossible. So we as leaders in the company, we try to make the effort to convince people to go into cloud, which for me is quite sick, to be honest, because when I come from the times when you had so many difficulties to find a job, it's quite weird. But I think there's really a way. Try to get the basic and then find how you're going to study for it, and you will start from a very junior position, but you will learn fast, yes, because this is everything going on a very, very fast pace. So that's my tip, what you should do.
Sure. Anyone else share their thought? Yeah, go ahead.
I fully agree. So you have to have a desire. The first step towards success is to have a desire. You can develop a dream, to have a vision, what you wanted to do. It's not like what other people force you to do, but yourself, what you want to do for your own life. Like Rich Fotek said many times, you are the CEO of your life. You have to manage it. Nobody else going to. Just have a design, have a goal, dream big, start small, and step by step, you will move towards your goal.
And this is not just cloud. Okay, so I want to emphasize this. So I need a kick in my tush, sometimes just myself, So there's a guy on YouTube, and you can search for him, named David Goggins. He has nothing to do with cloud. He's got motivation videos called Embrace the Suck. Why? Because it means get up at 4 a.m, run a marathon, go do something. It is hard. And how do you get to that point? It's habit. You will not become, you're not going to be the guy who's at the gym rat, okay? That's a habit. It's a good habit. It's good for their health, right? It's the same thing with diet. People eat poorly because they choose to, you know, and it's like, and it's the same thing with learning. Pick up a book, start reading. You might like it. You might actually do it a little more often. Don't stop, right? It's really one of those things. Turn off the TV, turn off the TikTok, right? The point being is where you choose your time is up to you. What you do with your time is up to you. Not even saying do cloud. I'm saying do something to improve you. And you know, I am actually very upset or frustrated, and maybe I fall into this myself, is this victim mentality that a lot of people go out there saying, oh, my boss, he's never giving me that promotion. He's like, you know what? It's your fault. I hate to say that. You'll always have a boss. Doesn't matter. Like, this is actually something I learned from Joe DePinto. He's the CEO of 7-Eleven. He was my mentor when I did my MBA. And he basically told me one lesson. Everyone has a boss. Everyone. And it could be your wife, okay? I mean, and the point being is you always report to somebody. It doesn't matter what happens. You do a poor job, you'll get fired. And sometimes you're like your CEO, great, but you're still reporting to the owners, the shareholders, to somebody else. But think of it that way in yourself, is like, have you done something for your shareholders? And if you haven't, it's all on you. You choose to watch a movie or watch a TV series or something like that. That's where you chose to put your effort and your time. But then don't complain that somebody got a promotion because they worked harder. You know, this is not fair. I mean, are you going to pay to watch the Olympics, which a bunch of slobs trying to run a 400-meter dash, right? I mean, you want the best athletes. That's what you're paying for. Well, that's what companies are paying for. They want the best talent and hire that. I will say that in cloud, there's a huge shortage. I mean, people are saying, there was a question, how does someone non-tech get in? I'm offering my kids 13, 12, and 10 $1,000 this summer to get Google certified. Why? Oh, there's so many reasons why. There was a guy we hired at Deloitte. He got a CCIE. You guys know what that is, when he was 11. Think about that. Just your own personal view of, oh my God, right? So you graduate, you're 20, there's a bidding war on you. Because people are looking at an individual who at the age of 11 got a CCIE, okay, is like, he's special. He's the type of people we want to encourage and hire in our firm. So there's a 80-20 rule. You guys are aware of this. In any company, 80% of the work is done by the top 20% of the people.
Right.
You want to encourage yourself to be in that 20%. You want to hire people who will be in that 20% because that's what drives your business. And that's also what you want to, like, develop yourself to look like the 20%, because that's where the money shows up. If you want the higher salaries, you want the whole thing, make yourself stand out in some way and be there. At the time, an MBA made a ton of money. Today, they're a dime a dozen, and they're not as worth as what they were before. Eugen, I look at his certifications. He's got a PhD in cloud. Okay, whether it's legit or not, someone should just send him a big, PhD of cloud. Because to me, it's the same thing. Why do you go to school? You build, like most of these, you either become very, very specialized, or you become a broad generalist like an MBA, and you know it all in the area. And that's the same to me. But there is a shortage of these MBAs, these cloud BAs, or whatever you want to call it, right? And now is the time to pounce, to develop it yourself, to get that that differentiator that you have in your career, because people are willing to pay top dollars for these skills. That's why I'm just calling it out. And it's also why I asked, Conrad and with respect to that question, because in the US, universities have become money factories. I look at resumes, I look at their transcripts. What is a straight A grades when the class average is straight A? How does that stick you out or differentiate you? So that's why I'm like looking at people. It's like, show me that you're special. Do something a little better. Not just I've worked 3 years in AWS working on some little project, and now I want to have the money that's available in this industry, and there is good money available in this industry. How do I go from here to there? Do something to make yourself look better on paper. And that's the recommendation I give to people. And I've coached people, and it's funny because at Dido we interview people, and I've actually told them as a career advice, hey, I suggest you do this. You're not ready to come here right now, but in 6 months, and I've booked an interview with them, we'll do this again. And the reason being is I would do them a disservice right now by hiring them, because they're actually in a good place to learn and develop themselves. But if they spend a little effort on themselves, I could pay them a premium salary. But so that if you're inside a company, how difficult it is to get a promotion and a significant raise.
Right.
I think that's a universal truth. And maybe people could ask the question, is it better to stay within the same company? Do they recognize that you've updated yourselves and increase and boost your salary? Or is it better to just go somewhere else? Because I am curious about how it is in Europe and other places around the world. I know India, they love to job hop. That's sort of a cultural thing to do. But I am curious about Europe and like in Singapore, it's in those parts of Asia. Just kind of curious what your take on that is.
No, absolutely. And I think very valid point, Richard, that you had. The very first thing is, what's the demand in the cloud? Yeah. So demand, as far as we know that, for all the enterprises, there are absolutely huge demand. We are lacking in the supply. So when it comes to, filling the gap in the supply with the demand, here I'm talking on the, in Europe, there's a huge gap in what the people can supply. If, for example, I need hundreds of architects in the DevOps, but it is extremely difficult to fulfill those positions. Yeah, so that's where it comes that if we already have somebody positioned here, we train them and we utilize their skills. So definitely, the cloud. I would say that coming into the cloud, the best time was 5 years before, 5 years from now. 5 years ago, and the second best time is now. So just jump into the cloud. There is absolutely no, looking back, and we guarantee. I think most of the story, we five have that indicates that what's most important is, number one is you need to have desire to come and make into your career, which is an investment, and second is like what you do basically in improving the speed of your internet. You put the DNS query, the DNS, you click on the Facebook, there are hundreds of queries goes to a DNS. If DNS is fast, your page loads fast. So consider us as a DNS server. They are your carrier DNS server. Learn our journey, right? We have learned the hard way, and this way you have got mentors also, and just use us, leverage us.
I will say one comment that you said, because that quote comes from planting a tree. It's a Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree is 5 years ago. The next best time for a fruit tree is now. But I will say that we are in a hyper competitive technology space. And so your point with cloud, is like, if you want to know what is the next hot thing, that if you invest your time right now, Kubernetes.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, if you can go and get your Linux Foundation, CKA, CKAD, CKS, you'll get a job tomorrow. And I know because I've helped guys coach them, and they ask me, what should I work on? And 4 job offers after just knocking out one, and their salary was boosted by $50,000. I mean, we're not talking even small numbers here. We're talking significant. Why? Because that's the next hot thing. Everybody's got a professional cloud architect certification now. I'm not saying everyone, and I'm not saying you can't go and take the same path, Eugene, myself, and whatever I've done. But if you want to just go and say, catch the next wave, the next wave is Kubernetes. The next wave is AI, right? Taking your machine learning and so forth, because it's the new trend. Everybody is beginning that journey right now. There's just no talent whatsoever. You're also in a situation where there's no experienced people. There's no one saying, I got 5-10 years in Google ML. It just came out. I mean, that didn't just come out, but there's just no pool of talent that you're competing with. So rather than thinking about focusing on the old stuff, right? Cloud, as an architect, catch the next wave. And now for us older guys, we have to keep up with the next waves, because that's where you get yourself stagnant, is by ignoring these waves. So I'm just pointing out that for the new guys who are asking, I'm not in technology, how do I get started? There is so many entry points in here where not only could you get started, you could actually become a leader in that space, because there's no one there. It's a small room, and it's a big room with a small number of players. So hopefully that helps folks.
Really, it's very, very helpful. Like, few things I want to add also. So first of all, just to share. So Satyan, his entire family is cloud certified. I believe you have 2 sons, right? And those are also certified, and they are in their teenage. Congrats for that. So the same thing I think, Rachel, you are going to do with your children now, giving them a target so that they can enjoy, they can upskill, and they can learn something in their summer vacation. So
Yeah,
great.
just on the lighter note, Chirag, it took me 3 to 6 months to learn them cloud, and then it took me 1 year to unlearn them now. So they're so
That's
basically they're the summer vacations are just 3 days 3 days from now. So Monday they are, the football field is going to be inside. So now we have to find that what are the things for target for this summer vacations.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
but my elder one, he already told that no cloud now this time.
That's why I bribed them. Okay, so
Some motivation need to be there, right? Okay. Just to add one thing, like as Richard was saying about the wave, we need to catch the wave. So it is the same situation going with me, like having a less than 5 years of experience. I started with the infrastructure, and I see now that space is damn crowded, regardless of how much people are certified or really who can implement or not. I'm not talking on that, but it's like personally, like fear of missing out. So that is where I was, like, in the a few months ago, in that situation, that I need to take a call. Yes, AI ML is coming, but is I'm really ready, or like how big it is going to be? I don't know. I try to search on that, and then Kubernetes is the one thing up, or entire portfolio. If I say app modernization, whether I have a developer mindset, I need to really be a developer to become a SME in app modernization. I don't know. So such kind of situations still did, like, it's going, and that is where I took a call to invest my more and more time into the analytics space, because yes, that is also a, what I can say, the mature field, and I think many of you guys are coming from a different experience, but the people who are on call, few are, I can see, a fresher or who recently started their career, and they are also in the same words that yes, cloud market, or especially the infrastructure market, is damn crowded now, because from last year as certification become a new norm. So in that regard, like, I want to pick up one more question, and we can proceed further. Okay, what are the thoughts on working in the big 3 of cloud? Can a certificate help to get selected there? This is I think a very common question. Everyone is having a experience of 5 to 10 year or 10 plus year, or a person who just started their career. So this is I think we can like I request everyone, please share your thoughts so that everyone will get the insights around that.
Quick answer: yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the thought like working in a big three cloud. Okay, yeah.
I'm just pointing out that in any industry, even for Cisco or whatever, those are the minimum. They look at these as minimum requirements to get a job in there, and or just show the effort that you've gotten some of these knocked out. They will talk to you. But I will say, a lot of there are a lot of folks, again, when you work for the big three, they also are big giant companies now, and they get stuck in a rut. And they're, after about 2 years at those companies, they're looking to leave because they're not feeling that they're getting the interesting projects or something else that are there. So I'm looking at beyond, can I just get a job? It's like, what can you do to get an interesting job where you're working on an interesting engagement? Because there's a lot of jobs there that are dead end jobs or roles across the industry. And so what I want to encourage people, and why I encourage them in terms of keep learning, is don't look at it as just getting a job. Although for those who don't have a job, I get it. That's a first step. But even when you're there, what's it going to take for you to keep building your career, your skill set is an investment in yourself, because there are a lot of people at the big three who are looking to get out of the big three because they're stuck in a rut in the big three. So just know that as a sort of guiding post.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I also echo I would think rather than terming as a big three, it should be mixed three. The mixed three is where you get the best of the three, right? So if you want to learn AWS, if you want to learn Azure, if you want to learn the third the Google Cloud, you will get the opportunity to learn everything. However, when you go, and that's my opinion, when you go to one theme, that becomes very focused. Yeah, and at one point of time you might feel that you need some change, you want to come into the different theme, right? So that's my view.
Yeah, I like to add to this question is, don't ask this kind of a question. Just I use whatever from the Matrix. Murphy said to Neo, let go your fear, misbelief. I don't remember exactly what he said, and just go and do it, and treat learning as an entertainment. I always say learning is not sucks. It's not embrace the suck. It's embrace entertaining. I like to entertain people by playing didgeridoo. Actually, I don't know how to. I just you got what I mean.
So Eugene, for some of us humans out here who actually don't take pleasure in sometimes this aspect of learning, we're drawn like the moth to a flame to the wasted time entities. I'm just calling out that each of us have this own sort of self-motivating factor. Sometimes it's a carrot, sometimes it's a stick, or the lack of the two. We need to just know ourselves to what it takes to push us in the direction we need to go. So I'm basically pointing out whether it is the embracing of the suck, which is what I'm saying, which I think is the same thing about, hey, let's go run a marathon, and yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, there's going to be no fun, but you're going to be so happy when you're finished, right? That's how I look at certifications. It's the same thing. You're looking at this as a fun activity. For us mortal humans, we don't. Some of us, again, I don't want to put everyone in the same category, but I want to tell people that, look, we do this. Conrad said he's taking a vacation for the summer. He's not going to focus on certifications. That's fine.
That's fine.
Come the fall, he's going to kick right back in and look at something, take some time off. That's the point is, you never stop learning. The moment
Exactly.
you stop learning, your career goes stagnant. Just that's all I can say as a summary of everything.
Yes, really, as again, being as a young among all of you. So yeah, that is a fear most of at my age and at my experience I am having. If I stop learning, then maybe I will what I can say, I will have no job. So such kind of thing I can say regular basis came in the mind, and I need to push myself.
So you will have a job, but understand. Look, so actually, out here in Florida, there's a little place called the Villages, and they're all retired individuals. It's in a retirement community of a few 100,000. There's a community there of COBOL programmers that are making a ton of money right now because they're the only ones who have the skills to go and still deal with these main. So I'm just pointing out you can still have a job, but your choices are going to be limited. So just know that it's not like the end of the world. Maybe you're happy in this rut that you're in, or just don't even think of it as a rut. You've got a perfect job. You're happy there. But control your destiny is all I'm basically trying to encourage people to do. You're your own biggest impediment. You're your own driver. So anyway.
Yeah, another important question, which is again the common and I believe applicable of many of the people who are on stream. How can one go about scaling their skills once they are already on job and not getting the opportunity to work on the things they want? I think that is one of the biggest concern people are always having. That again, the fear of missing out here. That everyone outside in the organization talking about cloud, but at the end in their team they are not getting a project in which maybe any cloud platform involvement. So how to tackle such situation?
I was there. Definitely, I
Okay.
was there for a long time, and every time I'm trying to do something new, you need to expect, well, especially for those, bleeding edge technologies. If you want to start working now, you want to jump into ML, but you have infrastructure background. It's going to take some time, right? You need to upskill. You need to find the projects. Maybe the company you're in won't give you this opportunity, so you will need to look for another one. I'm fortunate enough to have all of it, right? Working for companies like guys mentioned, Deloitte, Atos, any other companies. You have such a massive, or WinPro, you have a massive opportunities, right? You can, wherever you look, there will be always customers who will want to work, will want to use those technologies. So sooner or later, you will get there. I think what really is needed is the motivation. Try to understand what skills you need to get this job, right? And if you understand what is the minimum level to get there, yeah, try to reach it. And maybe if you can't do it in this company, maybe it will be other company. But don't think about I can't do it. Think about what you need to do to get there. Yeah. And I've been there. It's happening for me every 5 years, right? Every 3 years, where there is I remember when I was working with VMware Technologies, we've been one of the first company in the world doing software-defined data center, fully automated deployment. Yes, I thought like, oh, whoa, that's some amazing technology. We're going to spend next couple of years doing this, and it's amazing. 2 years passed, and public cloud came, and all this was obsolete already. So think big, think about the future, and think about getting there, and try. I think what is really important, I was mentioning this on the chat, is to show the people you want to work for your motivation. Yes, if I see someone who doesn't have experience, but I say like, this is where I want to get there, and this is how I'm getting there. This is what I'm learning. And for example, I don't give those people weird questions about cloud, like say something very specific. I tell you, I have this problem, solve it for me. And then I can see if the people is really passionate about it and if they really want to get into details, because I have so many experts that they would say, oh, I don't care. They will just do it, the bare minimum they need to do. But we can find really people with passion where you give them tasks when you try to interview them, because then you will see this is where you can shine. This is where you can show that you really make the effort. So even if you're not fully experienced for the job you want, you can still get it, because maybe they will need a junior. They will see, look, this guy, he doesn't know enough to be like a senior guy that we need, but we can invest in him. And we do this very often. So try this. This, I think, is a good tip to do if you want to find this job.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share the thoughts?
Everyone agrees.
No, yeah, we're in agreement here. So
Yeah.
One important, I think it's not only about a job. I like this question. Maybe I think your insights will be valuable here. So what kickstart for project after certification, if taking outside the organization would require in project exposure? What's your thought around that? What you guys think, that what approach a person need to take? First, they need to target the certification, then project, or maybe while preparing for the certification, maybe make some, you can say, hobby project, something like that. So,
Well, yeah, I can take this question actually. So let's say not just for the cloud certification. Let's say if we are we are a medical student, we have just come out as a medical practitioner, and if you ask the same question to him or her, he would say he will start working with the patients, right? In the same way, when we do the certification, the best thing is how do we keep attach ourselves so that how really things work. So go and try to do things on the proof of concepts, talk with your managers, your colleagues, that what are the opportunities in your company where you can start doing the things in the cloud. Yeah, so this way not only you will preserve your knowledge and all the things that you have done in the certification, but also you will keep start learning. Actually, you will do on the next step. So once you do, after when you have some experience, then you can come into the senior level. You manage the things. You basically you come into the architect. You design the system for your organization, and this way, I think that's the best approach that you can do.
I think, let me give you an example for this. If you go through the effort of getting something sort of unique, like a machine learning certification, right? And you go through the effort. If you get it, first thing you need to do is make sure your leadership knows that you've done it. Why? Because when the projects come up, there's a shortage of those skills. They'll come find you. So it's the chicken and egg. Now, if you get the cloud architect, again, that's a much more broader, much more within a company, especially a consulting company, you're going to have a lot. That's a baseline certification. Everyone's got it. It's a little different. But if you get something unique, Kubernetes, ML, there's shortages in that. The projects will come to you. They'll find you, trust me, because they're looking for people to fill those roles. So that's why I'm just kind of like, and if they don't, then still focus on the next step, right? There's always something else to augment that. If you really are passionate about that, just keep learning, differentiate yourself from everyone else. The jobs will come. And if not within your own company, trust me, recruiters will call you and they'll say, hey, I've got a project, I need your skills, right? But nothing's going to happen to you until you start building up those skills for yourself. Like hoping for a project when you have no skills is never going to happen. I mean, literally, if I have Kubernetes projects right now that I can't fill, but if you don't have your CKA or CKS, and those are the problems I need solved, and you've got no experience in Kubernetes, I promise you, no one's going to be asking you to work on a Kubernetes project. It's just the baseline, right? So that's why just keep learning.
Great.
Yes. Move. You are not a tree.
Okay. I think in the interest of time, because there are many questions, so that can maybe in the next weekend, I will do some session and a few questions I see I can tackle. So let's do the fun part. Let's do the quiz part. And after that, everyone can come on the Google Meet to say hi to you. And then we will have some, what I can say, nice screenshot and happy ending. Fine?
Awesome.
Okay, so just give me a minute. Let me share my screen and I will start the quiz part. And let's see who are the winner. We will be cheers. There will be some little bit music. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Share screen. Share screen and okay. I think my screen sharing started and I am bringing. Okay, everyone, please go to menti.com and use this code to enter into the quiz, and then we will start. We will know that who is entering. Please make sure to enter your correct name. Or if anyone wants the okay, yeah.
Can you post the link to YouTube?
Okay, so there is no link. It's like this one, menti.com.
Okay.
And this code need to be entered. So I see the people start entering here. So let's wait for one more minute and let's see.
Yeah, so maybe let's say what the price actually is.
Okay, so the prize is ebook written by Conrad on Google Cloud Professional Architect exam. So it's a preparation. Let's wait for a few more seconds, then I will start the first question. Okay, we see a lot of people joining. Some alien is there, some robot is there. Okay, great. So I'm going to start the first question now. Hope everyone is ready to answer because the timing matters here, guys. And okay. So the question is, how many IOPS per GB GCP regional and zonal balance disk providing? So we are going to see the result. So 6 IOPS is the right answer and 7 people have selected. So let's see the leaderboard. Who is the winner here? Okay, so it will calculate and it will show some results. Who is the winner here? And okay, Vamsi is the winner for first question. So congratulations, Vamsi. You will receive an ebook. You can reach out to me. I will connect you with Conrad later. I will drop my email ID in the chat. So get ready for the next question. I'm going to start the next question now. And here we go. What is the biggest compute engine VM size in GCP? So it's like, what is the largest size or biggest size VM? 18 terabyte, 6 terabyte, 12 terabyte, 24 terabyte.
Now people logging to the console.
Oh, okay, but time's up. Wow. So the answer is C. 8 people have selected the correct answer. And let's see the leaderboard here for our second winner. Hope Vamsi will not the same. And okay, here the things are changing and we see Imran. Okay, so Imran is a winner for this second question. Congrats, Imran. So let's go to the last question. Get ready, guys. I think this will be the easy one. Most of the people will know. When GCP BigQuery launched? Okay, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014. And we are seeing almost, okay, cool. 62 people have already answered, 66. Wow, great. And time's up. Let's see the answer. It's correct one is 2010 and 10 people have selected the right answer. Let's see who are those 10.
Don't you actually have to have Conrad's book to correctly answer these questions?
Okay. So we have Bharat this time. So congrats, Bharat, for the correct answer, and congrats to all the three winners for this quiz. And I